What is up, guys? Wrestling Premiere is here. Okay, I wanted to make this one for a while. Now that we got the previous story down, we could finally make the DX video. As a kid, DX were the coolest. Cooler than John Cena, that's for sure. I even had a DX poster in my room back then. That's how much I love this duo. I obviously knew about the old DX due to YouTube and stuff like that at the time, but this is the run I actually seen. I didn't usually get the chance to watch Raw back then, but I was well aware of DX's pranks and all of that stuff. Now, for me to cover this one, we gotta go back to when Triple H began having issues with Vince McMahon. Before I do, let me mention the differences between this run and the original. First of all, there was no Chyna or the Outlaws or Rick Rude, who unfortunately passed away in 1999. As DX for the first time, they were just a tag team. Second, Shawn Michaels at this point was a born-again Christian, so the stuff they could do, or that he could do, was limited. Also, thank you for 1 year, Wrestling Premiere. I started this channel 1 year ago, and I can't believe I reached this certain milestone, to be honest. Like, it took me 3 months to get to 10K, and I couldn't believe it. I was absolutely relentless. I was hell-bent on reaching a goal, and I succeeded. I don't know how, but I just did, to be honest. But it's all thanks to you guys. It's all thanks to the YouTube algorithm at the time. They were giving me a huge push. Yes, my channel is an example of hard work and eventually pays off. It could take 1 day, it could take 1 year, but eventually you're gonna get there. So if you're working on something like you got a channel, just put the work into it. Eventually you'll get there. And no, I'm not saying some basic stuff. Just do what you do and that's it. Like I don't have any secrets or anything like that. I just upload these videos and that's all. So yeah, thank you guys for 1 year of Wrestling Premiere. Hopefully by next year we'll have like 100K, but who knows. So yes, thank you once again. I'm glad to have the channel. I'm glad to have all you guys watching these videos. Probably do a live stream, Q&A. Expect that one real soon. Anyways, let's get into it. As you may know, Triple H and the Mcmahons had a good relationship during this time period. The game teamed up with Shane. He'd occasionally be by Vince's side, so they were all good. But then Triple H started to have second thoughts. On the May 1st, 2006 episode of Raw, Triple H was set to officiate the WWE title match between John Cena and Kenny of the Spear Squad. At this point, Triple H was actually getting cheered, which in retrospective is weird because the Reign of Terror had just finally ended for good about a year earlier. But hey, the older fans hated Cena so much, and I guess they wanted Triple H to be a face. During the match, Triple H's intentions, by the looks of it, were to make Kenny the champion, but since Vince forced him to do it, he was just going through the motions, and eventually Kenny pissed him off. He decided to pedigree him and leave. As he walked up the ramp, another ref, a familiar face, made his way down to the ring. Those two had a little stare down, and the fans chanted DX, DX, and at this point, man, the fans really wanted that reunion to happen. They seen the DX sign at WrestleMania 22, both men did it. So when was it gonna happen? That was basically the mindset at this point. It wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when. Shawn then entered the ring, he super kicked Kenny and cleared house. Cena FU'd the challenger, and he retained the title. Now, if you understood what I said earlier, Triple H didn't take Vince's advice. Vince wanted to stick it to the game after he called him an old man a couple of weeks earlier, hence the game being the referee during that match. He failed to complete the objective, which was make Kenny the champion, and so he was gonna pay. Triple H at this point was a tweener of sorts. He was neither face, neither heel. The following week, Triple H made his way out to the ring to claim his title shot. He was ready to face the champ for the championship, but just when the bell was about to ring, Mr. McMahon came out and canceled the title match. The game was very eager to go at it, and this certainly bummed him out, because the old man, these are his words, is running around and not giving him the freedom he believed he deserved. Vince didn't want to give the game the title shot because he defied him the previous week. He responded saying that if Kenny became champion, it's a lateral move, a cheerleader for a poser. The game bragged about making money and winning titles for Vince when the boss shot him up. Vince refused to be friends with any other wrestler. Simply put, he's the boss. And to show his appreciation for the stuff Triple H has done for him and the company, he's got his championship match, but not for tonight. Instead, Triple H got the rest of the night off. The game obliged, so he doesn't jeopardize the title match. At the end of the night, the Spear Squad continued their assaults with Shawn Michaels after beating him and John Cena in a handicap match. All of a sudden, Triple H, a defiant Triple H, walked down to the ring and he hit the pedigree on John Cena. He then stared at Shawn Michaels before doing the DX crotch chop, and damn, the fans, once again, they couldn't wait for that DX reunion. As expected, the boss reacted to these actions of the game. He decided to change Triple H's title match into a Texas Tornado handicap match for both the WWE and Intercontinental Championship. The game was let down by this announcement, and then he actually had the victory in his grasp, but Shelton beat him to the punch, and so Triple H wasn't WWE champion, while Shelton Benjamin captured the IC title. He tried explaining things to the ref before deciding to pedigree him because, you know, refs are hardheads in WWE, I guess. Shane tried to talk some sense into Triple H, who clearly wasn't having it. he delivered the news to the game. Shane himself is the special guest referee, and Triple H must be in Kenny's corner. Shane took a jab at Triple H, calling him champ, before realizing what he said. Later that night, Triple H, against his will, made his way out to ringside. His night was already ruined as it is. Now he's got to stand at ringside in order to ensure Shawn Michaels doesn't win. Despite the odds stacked against him, Shawn Michaels almost won the match. He nearly won it, but then the damn referee assaulted him. Shane then motioned for the game to enter the ring with sledgehammer in hand. Michaels stood helplessly as the game slowly approached him. He let him know to see this coming before whacking. Oops. Triple H accidentally hit Shane. He realized his wrongdoing and he stood there awkwardly. Shane, it seemed like he died and Vince entered the ring. He attended to his son as the game tried apologizing and explaining it was an accident. Vince, I assume, was grieving and he called Triple H an SOB as Raw went off the air. As a result of this incident, Mr. McMahon demanded an apology from Triple H. He threatened to retaliate if Triple H didn't deliver an apology. So later that night, Vince called out Triple H. The game, once again, he was forced to come out against his own will. McMahon was a bit disrespectful, and he reminded the game of Shawn Michaels' statements, move on from Bret Hart. The boss wanted a meaningful and sincere apology, not just an I'm sorry. He did want those 2 words though, but Triple H teased, suck it. Vince had a look of terror on his face, and then the game actually went through and said, I'm sorry. Vince then said that he'll accept the apology when Triple H comes out later that night with a sledgehammer and crushes Shawn Michaels' skull. The game understood, and at this point, Shawn was screwed. 5 members of the Spear Squad, and if he survives that, he's got to face a sledgehammer-wielding Triple H. Later that night, HBK confronted Triple H on this, and he said that he's lost respect for the game because he was basically Vince's toy. He sold his soul to the devil. The game defended himself before Michael straight up called him a sellout. What we didn't know at this point was that these words actually resonated with Triple H. It was sort of a wake-up call for the game. Michaels had respect for Triple H despite their differences, but all of that was gone. So during the match, Michaels was being tortured. The crowd loudly chanted Triple H, Triple H. The squad then destroyed the Heartbreak Kid's knee. Vince enjoyed watching from a distance, then he called for the game. Out he came. Triple H slowly walked towards the ring, and once he entered it, the crowd loudly chanted DX, DX, and then Mr. Ego, Kenny, took the sledgehammer away as the game was stalling at this point. Triple H then got in his way and decided to spinebuster him after Kenny attempted to use the sledgehammer. Triple H cleared the ring of the squad, and at this point there were certainly going to be repercussions for the game's actions. The following week, Triple H tried to let Vince know that he believes there isn't any issues. The Shane thing was an accident and Kenny got in his way the previous week. So the boss decided to book him in a Spirit Jack match against Kenny. Triple H informed him that he's gonna destroy Kenny, and if the Spirit Jack, and he added off, Spirit Jack off, get involved, maybe he'll just bring a friend with him. Later that night, Vince confiscated the sledgehammer away from Triple H, making it seem like he was confident in the game's abilities. What he wasn't, obviously. As for how that match went, the Spear Squad managed to get the best of the King of Kings. They targeted that leg, and it wasn't until Triple H brought out an equalizer that it would all change. The squad ran away like a bunch of little kids. Vince then came out and informed him that he sees the game joining a certain club, the Kiss My Ass Club. The fans booed. Triple H looked on in disappointment as Raw went off the air. So the game was stressed out over this announcement, right? Well, Shane McMahon tried to cool down the King of Kings. Shane himself was embarrassed of his father's actions, such as pulling down his pants in the middle of the ring, and he gave Triple H some advice in order to avoid that entire thing, such as reasoning with his father. So the game later that night entered the boss's office. He found a picture hanging of his old buddy joining the club, and when Vince appeared, he was ecstatic at the moment. He was so happy about this thing that he decided to get not only a facial, but an ashiel. Triple H let him know that he must be crazy if he thinks he's gonna embarrass himself. McMahon believed Triple H was a leader, and the moment his lips touched the ass, everyone's gonna line up. But since Hunter turned down that option, he was booked to face the Big Show. If he wins, the ass kissing doesn't happen, but if he loses, it happens. As for that match, the Spear Squad interfered and deliberately cost Triple H the match by attacking the Big Show. What this means is that the ass kissing happens at the end of the night. Backstage, Vince, who was on the phone, realized that Hunter's lost, and he refused to cancel the ass kissing, and if Triple H doesn't go through with that, well, he never gets a title shot. It was Christmas for Vince, and it was hell on earth for Triple H. Shane tried to cool down Triple H once again, but behind his back, he spiked his damn drink. Shane talked some sense into the game, and all of a sudden, he called his father. Triple H then realized what was going on, and he switched the drinks, and the plan was starting to backfire. Shane took a sip of that water, and all was good for Triple H. So the McMahons come out flaunting their egos all over the place. By the time Triple H came out, he had drunken all of that water. He was playing into the plan, and he saw the effects of that spiked drink. Slowly, he started to lose focus, and he was tripping. All of a sudden, he fell to the mat. And Vince decided, you know what, let's continue the plan. And he didn't give a damn if Triple H was unconscious. He was gonna kiss his ass. Vince once again pulled down his pants. Shane himself started to lose focus, and he was feeling himself before collapsing to the mat. Slowly, Triple H stood up and Vince turned around. The game then pedigreed Vince, whose ass was shown. What the hell is going on? Once again, out of context, what are you going to be thinking? So now Triple H was officially a good guy. I mean, he went against the boss's orders and did it with no regrets. What's more of a good guy than that? As for the repercussions of those actions, Vince decided to put Triple H in Shawn Michaels' shoes by forcing him to face the entire Spear Squad in a gauntlet match. The four men were just too much for the game. He struggled to fight them, he was spent, and the boss watched on in pure enjoyment. Now, the squad actually tried breaking Triple H's leg just like HBK, but before they did, Vince ordered them to break his damn neck. He then called for Mitch of the Spear Squad to come out, and when he did, he was flown into the arena. It was revealed to be the doing of the returning Shawn Michaels, who was out for 3 weeks. HBK in the game cleared the ring of the squad. The duo had a little stare down before hitting their finishers on the Spear Squad. They then slapped each other's hands and DX were back. Seriously, I love this moment. Vince brought it upon himself. HBK's statements a couple of weeks earlier were eye-opening. It was like, why side with the boss who treats you like a puppet when you could fight him? They played Triple H's King of Kings song, which to this day is weird to me. But yes, DX after 6 years, or 8 years if you count both of them together, was back. The fans were certainly excited to see them return. There was months of teasing, and finally, it happened. Yeah, this is one of my favorite Raw moments due to the circumstances. It was so damn slow, the build up to this moment, all of it. It was perfect in my opinion. Backstage, Vince was shouting that he was getting rid of those bastards. He then booked the Spear Squad against the damn DX at Vengeance. Yes, he called them that. Now, I see this DX reunion as a way of sticking it to Vince. By the beginning of the following week's episode, DX were already at it with the pranks. As Vince was speaking about the events of the previous and current weeks, a delivery man approached Vince with a chicken, or in his word, a cock. And he said that Vince apparently loves cocks. Please don't demonetize me. There was an alien that was stalking Vince, and then some male strippers danced for him. And if that wasn't enough, DX sent in a package for Vince. What was it? Well, it was a pistol pump. What the hell? Vince then walked down to the ring to discuss his plan for DX. About that plan, it never came to fruition because Shane came out and he informed his father that Stephanie is in labor. Vince was reluctant to go. In the beginning, he actually said no straight up, while Shane managed to convince him to leave. He put the coach in charge, and Vince was very pissed at the timing of all of this. So he decided to call his daughter. Well, here it is.
Now she's in labor. That bitch!
The Spear Squad tried calling on DX later that night, and they didn't come out. The duo opted for something else. The crowd was certainly excited to see the two degenerates, and they delivered 2 words to the squad, and no, they weren't suck it. Instead, they were look up. And from the top of the rafters, slime fell right onto the 5 men. DX were laughing it up, the squad were tripping in the ring, and DX spray painted the camera. But that wasn't it. DX were planning a reunion of sorts for later on that night, but before they did, they managed to vandalize Vince's office. They desecrated the entire room, and not only that, the coach was actually a victim of DX. Let me explain. So the duo decided to watch Raw with the coach, and he was pretty uncomfortable. He tried making himself such a big deal and tried to put fear in their heads, and it seemed like it worked initially, but then they stuck his head into the wall, then they pantsed him before spraying DX on his ass. Shawn sprayed the D backwards, and overall it was a bizarre segment. At the end of the night, it was finally time for the D-Generation X reunion. For the first time in 8 years, they did the official entrance together, and no, I'm not talking about the 2002 one. That doesn't really count because, well, they did the entrance and all that, but it ended before it really began. Triple H asked the crowd for the first time in a long time if they're ready. Before doing the old shtick, you know, let's get ready to suck, all that stuff. Shawn, he had 2 words for those that weren't down, and from there, this reunion turned into something else. The duo revealed that Princess Stephanie and her labor pains, well, they weren't real. Shawn admitted she was fine before asking who's the father. Triple H praised the hell out of the guy before Shawn plugged the pay-per-view. He let the squad know that they aren't facing no ordinary opponents, no regular WWE superstars. They're facing the game Triple H, a Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels D-Generation X. But then the 5 men interrupted this reunion, except it wasn't them. As you can see here, DX easily dismantled the fake Spear Squad before Triple H called for cheerleaders. Shawn put the blindfold on because he wasn't the same man as he was previously. They did a little cheer, they took their top off, Shawn was patiently waiting for the end, but then the actual Spear Squad with a bunch of Raw heels came out. The other guys had a change of hearts and they realized they were screwed. Johnny and Mitch received a pedigree and a super kick, and the other guys flat out refused to enter the ring. DX then gave the squad 2 words, which were "suck it," and now we were off to Vengeance. Now the pay-per-view itself was really hyped. And then you saw a DX ad before they even reunited. The company, I believe, was expecting a great draw for the pay-per-view. I'll get into that, but before I do, let me mention the match. The match itself wasn't bad, it just felt like a TV main event, and obviously the fans didn't care, they just wanted to see DX together for the first time. Yes, it was decent, and it wasn't the most important thing. It was DX's return that was the most important thing. Throughout the match, the squad isolated Shawn Michaels, and the moment Triple H entered the match, it all changed. Poor Johnny bled profusely. They did their finishers, and that's it. Not bad, and I think you might enjoy if you watch it, but it's funny to me that the Spear Squad actually main evented a pay-per-view. But wait, there's more. After the match, poor Mitch joined the Triple H Kiss My Ass Club. Vince watched on from a distance. He congratulated DX and let them know that he'll see them tomorrow as Vengeance went off the air. Now, obviously, this is where I have to end the video. I want to cover the entire DX McMahon feud, but it'll have to be separate as it might be 30 minutes long. Think about it. From the segment the next night, all the way up to Unforgiven 2006, we gotta cover all of that in one video. I can't really split that one, so yeah. Expect that one later this week, hopefully. Okay, the Vengeance 2006 pay-per-view drew 337,000 buys internationally, which was actually the highest for a B pay-per-view in 2006, the highest since Vengeance 2005, and since then, no other B pay-per-view could reach the number. So I guess it's safe to say DX were definitely a draw. For weeks, there was commercials signaling the arrival of DX, and it worked. So yes, overall, this was a fun video to make, to be honest. I like this DX run, although many don't. You either like it or you don't, so I guess it's 50-50. But yes, if you were a kid, you most likely loved this run. The X were hilarious at the time, seriously. Their matches were pretty good. And yeah, I don't see anything that's wrong with this. Maybe they were older, they were goofing around and stuff like that. But when they were serious, like the Hell in a Cell match, which I'll get into hopefully, nothing bad. They could be goofy, they could be serious, and you can take them seriously at the same time. Overall, DX's return, fun. That's your first video. Make sure you hit a sweet chin music on the like button and perhaps a pedigree on the subscribe button. Peace, I'm out.